What's up, y'all? How you doing? It's your boy Gerald. It is the last day, the 31st of March, 2015. Is it me or did this month go by like that? Went by quick. It's crazy, ain't it? But that's how your life should be. It's non-stop, but it's important that you stay grounded so you have the clarity that is truly in your best interest to make sound decisions. So nonetheless, I wanted to put this video out. I know I normally do them on the weekends, and I woke up this morning and it was placed on my spirit to convey this to somebody. And first of all, how you enjoying your spring? How you doing? You enjoying it? I know the weather where you're at is trying to find its balance. We got these Indian summers where you got a lot of sunshine, but the wind's blowing, the pollen's tearing you up. And by the way, I go through that too because see, my mother blessed me with long curly eyelashes, and boy, boy, when the spring turns, the pollen, these eyelashes they feel like they 10 pounds, and my eyes just like ah. But you know what? I'm grateful because number one, that's just an indicator of change. That's all it is. And because think about it, you blink twice, look back once, and the snow was falling. Sometimes it felt like it would never complete. You think that you're turning a corner on something with the weather, you braved it, and then you think that, okay, that's it. And what happens? Nah, you got some more. You had to navigate through that. You had to make sure that you stayed vigilant in what was going on, you know. But look at where you are now. You're in the midst of your spring. So now you should be reflecting where you were 6 months ago. Because you've had a lot go on in your life. You've interacted with a lot of people. You've shared connections on many levels. Hopefully, they were good, fruitful, beneficial. But I also know that there were some situations that were not so good, that were discomfortable, and kind of made you feel perplexed. But guess what? Another day came. Another morning came. You were able to wake up and breathe in that beautiful breath of life. So guess what? There was a blessing. But more deeper, another day to work on what needs to be completed. Another moment that you can focus on you. And guess what? You're priceless. It's your life. You get to see the world through your view. But guess what? Does it make sense to have certain perceptions? Because I got a feeling that some of y'all are going through this season where you're having issues about that, your perceptions, how you view life, and how it's not correlating where you wish to go. And you're feeling a little alienated. You're feeling that the intentions that you set forth are not adding up. You're being delayed. Well, this video is for you. First of all, how you doing? Doing all right? I want to thank each and every one of you for just taking a second to hear what old Gerald got to say. Because, see, I see your worth. I see your value. And you deserve to have the life intended. But guess what? It is your life. So you have to plant those seeds. You have to do the work. You have to go within yourself. But more importantly, you've got to speak your truth. So this may be that season, that linchpin in your life where you're saying, you know what, Gerald, I've taken approach in my past to more or less be present, but be silent. And by me making that choice to not speak my truth, I've had to absorb a lot of things that rightfully were not mine. But because of my environment, I felt like I had no choice. I felt that if I stayed the status quo, that everything would be okay because all I wanted was peace. All I wanted was to feel validated that where I was, there was no drama. But that was not the case now, was it? And what would happen? You would feel this frustration because you don't understand what's going on. It seems like the people that are coming around you only want to deplete you. They only want to be around because it benefits them, and they don't want to invest in the essence, the connection. Well, guess what? You're in a new season now. Some of y'all are going to use this motivation to go forward by going in because you feel that it's life and death. So you already know what has not worked. You already know what has been nothing but a crutch. You also know that deep down inside, that those wounds that you've been carrying were not a badge of honor, but those were the same things that was holding you back from yourself. That is why it's very important that you love yourself first and foremost, because you deserve to be happy. I know some of y'all might right now be thinking, well, you know what? If I could just have my little slice of the pie and go on by myself and live the rest of my days, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Because where I've been, what I've seen enough for everyone. And you tired. You realize that the things that you attracted in your life did not serve you. Some of you may have made a choice that you said, you know what? If I stick it out, they'll come around. They'll start to understand what I've been trying to convey all along. But guess what? The sad truth in that is you realize that they are who they are and you are who you are. But the reality is that they don't want to grow. And it feels like wasted time. Let me tell you something. See, sometimes we will go through experiences to prepare us for what's ahead. And a lot of times we don't understand what we're being prepared for. But trust when I say this. There is also a blessing in disappointment. Sometimes when we go through things, it's kind of like wicking away the things we don't need that we may have not knowingly brought into our lives. So right now, you are in this position where you're breaking out the litmus paper of your life and you are testing it for authenticity. You are seeing that maybe the approach that you pursued, thinking that it would more or less usher your life into a certain direction, was not worth it at all, because what you really needed was found inside you. But that's what perceptions are. See, every moment, every moment that you allow your intellect to work for you is another opportunity to validate your choices. See, you gotta understand, that's what he gave us. Yeah, I'm doing my laundry too, so bear with me. But that's what it is. Because see, your higher power, my higher power is my Lord Jesus Christ. The one thing that I've learned, and I'm a babe in Christ too, is that the more and more that I invest in my life, it requires me to be still. See, you know, once again, you know what you don't need. And you realize right now, at this moment, you're tired of crying. You're tired of feeding in the BS. But more importantly, you're tired of holding a position for something that will not reap the benefit for you. Let me tell you something. You're on the verge of stepping into a new chapter of your life. And right now, you might not feel comfortable where you are, because a lot of times we want to know the end result before we invest in anything. But I've come to learn in my life is that the moment you decide to be vulnerable with yourself, you will lean on to your faith. A life without faith, without your discernment, is like getting on the road, not knowing where you're going, expecting to end up somewhere. I know some of y'all might not understand what I'm trying to convey, but what I'm saying is this. Say that you want to end up over there, but you go this way, and then in turn get mad that you don't end up over there because you haven't invested in the planning on what it takes to get there. And through trial and by error, you just keep driving and driving. To do what? Waste your time? Waste your money? Delay where you need to be compared to what you want? Nah, it don't work that way. But you know what? You know, I don't know about y'all, but you know, that proverbial saying, a hard head makes a soft ass. Well, guess what? There's a lot of people that are soft. Because a lot of us are now saying, you know what? I got to take accountability for my life. I might not know where I'm going, but I know at the least that as long as I lean on my faith, I'll get there. I might get there quicker than I thought. But I'm going to at least invest in myself to know that if I make the sound decisions needed, I'll get the outcome. And it may be better than I thought. And you work that. So let's turn the corner. Because that might not be the factor for some of y'all. I know some of y'all may be feeling that you've made some choices in your life because what you leaned on for support to live your day-to-day was your pride. And you felt that I'm going to wear that as my armor when I step out into that world. And as long as I walk around thick-skinned, bulletproof, I can fool them. I can convince them that's who I am. But when you go behind closed doors, you weep. You break down. You shake yourself to sleep. You turn to that escape. It may be alcohol. It may be drugs. It may be sex. Anything to take the sting out of your reality that your heart hurts. Let me tell you something. The most prized commodity you gonna ever have, other than your spirit, is your heart. See, that's priceless. There'll never be another, because that's yours. And that's just like with your character. Your character may take a beating, but you can always get up if you choose to. I know we've all been in contact with people that you may have had the best interest for them because you see what they can't, but they choose to remain where they are in their misery. If that's you, don't beat yourself up. You pray for them. You pray for their breakthrough. Because I'm a firm believer that God makes a way when there is no way. And in the 13th hour, all blessings will be manifested. All it takes is the faith of the mustard seed. Do you realize how small a mustard seed is? Your higher power wants you to, that's what he's saying symbolically. Just work with that. Give me that. Show me that you have the integrity of yourself. Give me that. And I'll show you a life that you could never imagine. But see, you can't understand that until you start to look at those perceptions that you had bought into. Come on. I know some of you right now, heart hurts. Heart hurt. It's aching. But because that's all you know, you don't want to abandon that. Because that is like the friend that you know. The loyalty is in your pain. Do you actually think you were supposed to be on this planet suffering? Really? Do you actually think that this, where you are right now, is the best it's going to be? Really? No. I'm here to disappoint you. Some of you, I included, have not even scratched the surface of what your life is going to be. But you got to turn a page. You got to ground your feet. You got to have the courage to look at those things that are blocking you from your destiny. And let's keep in mind, when you took your first breath, your legacy was written. I know some of y'all are saying, well, Gerald, why is my legacy written with all these men? If I could go back in my life, I wouldn't be with all these men. All they do is come around and to sleep with me. Let me explain something. You know why you're experiencing all these men coming into your life? Let's be 100. And the end result is y'all have that exchange and then they dip out. Just like someone having a beautiful balloon, and every time you connect the string to the balloon, you see there's a little hole and it slowly but surely doesn't float. You know why? Number one, because that's what you wanted inside your heart. You manifested that. You manifested that. You attracted that into your life because you have a perception of what companionship is. So you got to own that. Some of you may be thinking, well, you know what, Gerald? I have a template of what my dream mate is. He's got to be successful. He's got to look like this. He's got to have social status in some way. And then I'll feel emotionally safe because that precept will allow me to be vulnerable because he's doing what he needs to do. But what you fail to realize is God ain't in the front of it. So guess what? Every time you turn around and stay on that path, you're going to get the end result. It's not going to change. Actually, it gets more intense. And this flips for guys too, regardless of the gender. The reason why you keep going through that same situation is to teach you to love yourself, respect your temple, your body, and see your worth. So until you decide to actually dedicate to yourself, they keep coming. Because you know that devil? Oh yeah, because the devil is real. I keep trying to tell y'all that. He's like that lion in the brush. See, every time that you think of something, you say, well, you know what? I wish I had a man that looked like this. Well, guess what? He in the cut. Like, oh, really? Oh, that's what's floating your boat these days? And guess who walks in your life? That same man, that image. But the difference is he won't love you. He'll sleep with you until as long as he can, but he'll never love you. He'll deplete you. He'll deplete you. He will rob you of time. But here's the kicker in that. Because God is so incredible. You know what he does? He runs flank on that. And he'll bring what you need into your life. Boom, right? And be right in the midst of your face, in the midst of it. And what do? You try to figure it out and you can't. And all this person does is love you. They don't want to exploit you. They want to grow with you. And they show you how to grow together, cohesively. And what do? You don't find no amusement in that because there's no drama. There's no chaos. And you used to chaos and drama. You used to someone disrespecting you instead of validating what you are and building you up. So what do? You take them for granted. You disrespect them. But in turn, you really disrespecting yourself because you're not seeing the blessing. And then what happens? Eventually, they accept it and they leave you to your own demise. And what happens? You end up regretting it. I know some of you right now. You with the Mr. Wrong and no Mr. Right. But you know, because of the fact that you're so prideful, because you won't forgive yourself, because you don't have a connection with your higher power. My higher power is my Lord Jesus Christ. You settle. You settle. And the reason why you settle is instead of seeing your worth and getting yourself out of that situation so that you can actually step into your life, which means to reflect and heal, you take this position of this. I'll be damned if I let you go so some other person have you. How arrogant is that? But more importantly, what sense does that make? So you see what you don't need, but you don't let it go. You don't let it go because you're so intimidated that somebody else is going to benefit from your burden. What's the logic in that? So you stay in the midst of that. And what happens? Time progresses. Or not. You attract somebody else in your life to do more damage. In the back of your mind, you're so insecure of being alone, but guess what? You're not doing anything to grow. What I'm trying to get you to understand is this. If you want pure love, you want to feel that, you got to make a declaration to yourself to love you. Love you. It don't matter what's in your bank account. It doesn't matter what's on your back. It doesn't matter where you lay your head. And I say that because guess what? When your time and hour comes to stand before the Maker, guess what? None of that is going to matter because you ain't taking that with you. Those are nothing but tools. And it really doesn't matter. They don't. And I'll validate it. Why you think we got good wheels? Why you think we got storage units that are filled up and end up becoming abandoned? Why? Because we don't see the value in the things we need compared to the things we just want. That's real talk. So let's flip it. When you decide to invest in your heart, you'll start to then embrace your life. You'll get that in a minute. Because I'm going to tell you this, y'all. Your purpose and why you on this planet will be crystal clear. See, nothing happens by chance. I know society wants to use the term fate, karma, but I like to look at it, and this is my opinion, is divine intervention. So if you really want to look at it like a scale, if you think that you're going to go through life and prosper just by disrespecting yourself, what you stand for, no, it don't work that way. That's why biblically, how's the scripture go? Treat thy neighbor as you wish to treat yourself. It's the same. The energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. So if you're not loving yourself first, right, you can't expect someone to love you because they validate who you are. So let's just turn the corner because I'm already breaking 28. What I'm trying to get you to understand is this. If you prefer to embrace a prideful spirit, a stifled step, you don't want to take accountability for your life, you just want to live, as they say, YOLO, two things are going to happen. You ain't going to have no dough, and you're going to end up squandering your life. You will be by yourself. But you know what the tragedy is? The intended person that is supposed to take your life to the other chapter of your life, because your life is cut in half, y'all. Yes, we have seasons in there broken up because you got 4 months, 4 quarters in a year, but this cut it in half in your life expectancy. The divine person that is supposed to walk with you will be a spiritual person. See, that person, when they were given the breath of life, guess what? Your name was written on their heart. It was. And I know some of y'all right now like, you know what? I know exactly who you talking about, Gerald, but I don't want to have nothing to do with him. He don't understand me. Guess what? Not only does he understand you, he sees you more than you can see yourself, because he knows who you are. And I know that for a lot of you, that intimidates you because you have control issues. I had somebody tell me, they asked me, well, Gerald, you know what? I'm an independent woman, and I don't need a man, and I prefer to live alone. Well, you know what? Maybe you are doing yourself that's a good decision if, number one, you're not investing in your heart, you're not taking accountability on your choices, and you're pretty much accepting what people give you. No, yeah, the best thing you could do is live by yourself. Because until you decide to embrace who you really are, to look at those broken pieces in your life, the greatest disservice you could ever do to somebody is come into their life to mess it up. That would be the most selfish thing you could do, knowing that you got issues, severe issues, and you strategically come into somebody's life to bring them down. You're going to pay for that. hmm That happens. That's why it's not good to cheat. It's not good to be deceptive, manipulative, or controlling. See, the person that's going to be in your life is going to accept you for who you are because they see you as priceless. You're supposed to be their best friend. You're supposed to be their rock. But if you can't be your own best friend first, you're wasting your time anyway. If you're going through life by counting the spackles on the ceiling or doing this because you gotta do that, you ain't living your life anyway. You're selling yourself short, and that's such a disservice. Such a disservice. Such a disservice. So, I challenge each and every one of you. Look where you've been 6 months ago. Matter of fact, look where you were 3 years before that. And where was the progression in that? If only thing that's changed in your life is the people that have come in to leave, come on now. It's time for you to change the perception of how you see life. Because look at it like this. God forbid, the hour and moment comes and you don't exist. What is left over is what you stood for. You don't want to be remembered as, well, you know what? They didn't take their life serious. He was the party guy, party girl. You know, they were great to have fun with, but I never would want to grow with them because they didn't respect themselves. So how can I, you don't want that. And more importantly, think about it this way. Your purpose is to help someone else find themselves too. It might be someone younger, it might be somebody older, but you have an assignment by him. Each one, teach one. That's what it's about, y'all. But if you're not loving yourself, if you're not choosing to be authentic, if you're not embracing being transparent to yourself first, everybody in your environment, no matter be it professionally, emotionally, financially, they're going to validate your state of mind. So it is imperative that you look at your perceptions. But the beautiful thing about that is when you put your higher power first, all that don't serve will fall to the side because they will be put in your face for you to look at it. And guess what? They're going to do that until you have the courage to one by one champion them all. So once again, I cannot stress this. The greatest gift you could ever do is get a second opinion in where you are in your life. If you walk around with trials and tribulations from your childhood, yes, my queens, I know a lot of y'all got daddy issues. And you wonder why the men you attract are the way they are. Nah, you gotta get that right. But I'll say this even more. If you have the ability to connect with your Father, He is the one that's going to heal those woes. Because I'm going to tell you what, you're His child. And guess what? It behooves you to listen to what He has to say. Because remember, without your dad, there would be no you. So you can't really say, I don't need a man. But look at it this way. If you're not willing to love yourself, do the work, heal. And let me put this out there too. When I say the word healing, this isn't something that happens overnight. Oh, I look at it and, okay, I'm done with it, keep it moving. Nah. You do a disservice to yourself when you do that. Think about all those pains you've been walking around with. Huh? It's time for you to be accountable and look at the things that you have chosen, but also the things that you had to deal with. The beautiful thing is God brought you through it. And when you humble yourself down, you will actually have to admit to yourself, even through your BS, He was always there. Why? Because He got something better for you. So take that chip off your shoulder. Humble your heart. Speak your truth. And oh yeah, for those people that have a perception about you, take note and take heed. They're doing you a service. They're doing you a favor, because guess what? You're seeing who they really are. Now take stock on how the connection is forged. If the connection is only because it's behind closed doors or in the dark, that's what they see you with. Don't do that. Don't do that. Have faith. Have courage. Love yourself. Forgive those who have wronged you. But ask for forgiveness for those people that you've wronged. And watch the pain disappear. And trust and believe I always say this, the people that love you, don't worry. You'll see them in the intended time. You will. But the one thing I know some of y'all are kind of battling with is the fact that y'all have done some bad things. And your pride has got you to a point that you deep down inside want to be forgiven. You want to be forgiven so you can breathe. You can let that burden off your chest. What's stopping you from picking up that phone? What's stopping you from just sending that text out? Even though it is impersonal to send a text, but if you're in a position where if you can't communicate in front of that person, you take the next step. Maybe just go get a card. Write down your thoughts. Because they'll never understand how you feel unless you share it. Don't you think you're worth it? I do. But for those who are at that point where they know that, hey, you know what? My life ain't working. I know I deserve better. Maybe this is the time that you will humble your life. You'll humble yourself. Go talk to a therapist. Go talk to a counselor. Go talk to a life coach. Talk to someone that won't have an agenda to benefit out of you, but genuinely wants to help you. Because if you're spending one day in confusion, you're crying yourself to sleep, you're having unrested days, or worse, you're turning to escapism and you're sleeping around like you're bulletproof. You've given your power to people that you might as well throw yourself in the trash can, because these people will never have the courage to tell you the truth, but they'll use you up. They'll use you up. hmm They'll treat you like a stuntman in a movie. They will use and abuse you, and after the fun or they've been exposed for what they're about, then they'll keep it moving. But trust and believe, do not hold grudges. Don't. Because see, all things come full circle. They do. The energy you put out, you're going to have to own and take accountability. And until you do, it intensifies. Until you have to submit to Him. He loves you. See your worth. My kings, what do I say? You got that last name for a reason. Do not allow your situation to define your life. We make choices that are not in our best interest sometimes. But it's your responsibility to claim your life, to learn from them. Put God first in all you do, and you can't go wrong. Yeah, there's going to be a trade-off, y'all. The more you embrace and gravitate towards Him, you're going to lose some people. That's okay, though, because there's a blessing in those disappointments, too, because these people secretly did not have the courage to tell you the truth or who they are. That's why I keep saying, opportunists don't need your help to expose themselves. But it is your responsibility to see it for what it is. If you're spending more time scratching your head, rubbing your forehead, rubbing your chin, because when you're around this person, you always take a loss, it's because you ain't supposed to be there. Okay? Love yourself. Respect yourself. See your work. Y'all don't realize these next 6 months are going to be very profound, because y'all going to see things that are going to bubble up from your past and your present, and it's going to try to impact your future. That is why it's important that you discern. And don't worry about those people that have perceptions about you, because guess what? This is one thing we don't have. We do not have the ability to change a person's choice. We don't. We have free choice. We have free will for ourselves. So if they don't want to grow with you, accept it. Accept it. Keep it moving. But trust and believe in the divine time and moment. Oh, they're going to be wishing they could hear you breathe. You might have been their blessing all along, but you didn't even see it either. So place God first in all you can do. It'll work out. It'll work out. Because trust and believe, when it comes to your life, there'll be many people that'll try to sign up to be a part of the story. But unfortunately, there'll be some people who will not make it to the end to truly understand your legacy. That's just, yeah. And why would you want to? You're not just something to do. You're an experience. Claim your worth. Well, I hope you guys have a great week. Love to hear from you. Like, don't like. That's okay. But you deserve to be happy. You do. So, you going to claim your life? Or you going to allow your environment to define it? Because remember this. Perceptions are made to be validated and changed. But they cannot happen until you decide to claim you. God's praying for you. You know I am. See, I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Now, don't trip on them. In the divine time or moment, they're going to be. That's why people come back. That's why they do. Watch. All right, guys, have a blessed week. Love to hear from you. Bye.